Okay, so here we go. This is the full video that I was able to get of that Louisiana House meeting with these four speakers, including Gary Chambers Jr., um, Pastor Bishop, uh, Senator Carter, um, uh, Bishop Buetain. Uh, um, but these are all prominent Louisiana pastors. Excuse me. And this is the uncut video that I was able to get. So here it is. It's quite long, so be prepared, but you'll love it. It's thoroughly inspiring when you watch the whole. I think it's like 30 minutes, whole 30 minutes. So I ain't gonna keep you any further. Let's get to it. That part right there. Vote, vote, vote. Our civil rights are in danger. Vote.
Record.
I am Bishop Paul S. Morton, and I am the founding bishop of the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship. Of course, being a preacher, I understand clearly the Bible when the Bible says, "Judge not, that ye be not judged." So I'm not here to judge anybody, but the Bible does tell me the only way that I can know you is by your fruit. By your fruit we shall know you. You could talk, you can act like you're not this, act like you're not that. The only way that I can know you is by the fruit you produce. And I understand if it's an apple, I understand what an apple is, I understand what an orange is. And I also understand what racism is. We could call it something else, but we know, look, 4-2, 4-2, fighting over 4-2. You already have double, but you want more than double to insult African Americans? Listen, the script it's flipped, y'all. If you go back to my foreparents, understanding where my foreparents came from, they had to live under a slave master. So black people had to live under a slave master. But the script has flipped. Our white brothers and sisters now have a slave master. Racism in the white community has a slave master that's listening to a slave master. That's making you change things that you believe in. You know it's wrong 4-2 and you trying to make it a 5-1 or 6-0. Come on. Louisiana has to wake up. There is too much racism in this state, and we're tired of it. And once people have experienced freedom like we have, I'm here to tell you today, we ain't going back. You need to get that clear. You can do what you want to do, try all you want to do, and if you do like you've done with the others and cut me off, that's fine. I got enough said. This needs to stop. Now, if you say that you're Christians, and many of you say you're white evangelists, or white evangelicals, act like it. You know what the Bible says. All this hate and racism and trying to take people back, make America great again. You want to take it back to the 60s. That's not when America was great. America is great when everybody's included. Yes. I'm finished.
Come on.
Senator Carter for a question.
Thank you, Bishop.
I just want to make it for the record that that's my bishop. I grew up underneath you, Pastor.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And it's me, my whole family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I'm so glad that you brought the word today, because you
And
can tell.
you brought a powerful. You were powerful today. I'm sorry they cut you off, but you was powerful.
Listen, and it's back on.
All right. Yes.
You know,
yes.
listen. You could tell the fruit. You could tell the tree by the fruit of by the fruit of that tree.
Excellent.
Thank you, Pastor, for that word. And in general, you mentioned something. It's almost football season. Oh yeah, they're gonna celebrate diversity when they roll out the LSU football team. They're gonna roll out diversity. They want to eliminate diversity and inclusion in our congressional representation. They want to eliminate diversity and inclusion when it comes to teaching it at our universities. But when they're trying to assemble a football team that can compete, or when they're trying to assemble a basketball team that can compete, oh, they want diversity and inclusion then. Thank you.
Senator Barrow, Madam Pro Temp. Sorry. Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, more notable individuals sitting at this table. While this is a really defining moment in history, it is not a great moment to celebrate. It is a great moment to have all of you giants representing here in your respective fields. We have a general of the faith, Reverend Paul Morton. And look, even though you're not my bishop, you've always been my bishop. I've been watching you from afar for many years. A general of armed services who served his country well, who was really the armor bearer, who carried us through in Hurricane Katrina and brought us out of pure chaos. And then the general of civil rights, integrating the schools, setting the standard, letting it be known that A, we can learn like everybody else, B, we are more smart and intelligent, and that we can carry our own weight when given the opportunity. I just want to say thank each of you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, making sure that our young people understand that this cannot be lost, that we are setting the standard for them to walk through the door. We have to make sure that this door remains open, and that every young person coming behind each of us, all of us in this room, have the same opportunity that we have had, and better opportunities. Because the truth of the matter is, not only will they do well as each one of you have done, because it's already given. You have the fruit that already shows how each one of you have already made your contribution, not only to this state, but to the country, and the importance that it's made to every citizen. And one of the things that you said, Pastor Morton, America is great when all are included. And that is the message that we need to be stating. American is great when all is included. So thank y'all for being here today.
thank you, Madam Pro Temp. The board is cleared. Thank y'all for y'all testimony. I'm not going to go forward until it's calm. Reverend Jackson, you're from Shreveport?
I am.
All right, I'm going to take you. Did you fill out a green card?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to find it. Reverend Jackson, I'll take you up first. Please tell us who you are and give your testimony.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, and to this committee, my name is Theron Jackson. I was born and raised in Lake Charles, but I've lived in Shreveport for 35 years, and I've come before you today not only as a pastor, but as a community leader, as an educator, as a formerly elected official, and as a citizen who's tired of watching democracy become negotiable whenever black voices begin to matter. I'll tell you what confused me today when I listened earlier at the presentations. I was confused because the map that was before the Supreme Court, I understood that Republicans voted for that map. The governor supported that map. The Secretary of State supported that map. And my question was, were they drawing a racially gerrymandered map? Or was it drawn for political partisan reasons? I think so, which could make it legitimate by the Supreme Court, you would think. But that pattern is not accidental. That pattern is historical. Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Louisiana doesn't lead America in health care. We don't lead America in education. We don't lead America in opportunity. We don't lead America in child well-being. And quite frankly, in many of those categories, we are dead last. But somehow, this legislature can move with lightning speed when the issue becomes limiting black political power. We can't move fast for poor children. We can't move fast for health care. We can't move fast for cancer and Cancer Alley. We can't move fast for failing schools. We can't move fast for rural hospitals. But when black representation is at stake, suddenly the exigency is at a level of urgency. The Speaker of the House of the United States, who used to represent me, the majority leader of the Republican Party in Congress, they both come from Louisiana. You serve in a majority white Republican Senate, down the hall from a majority white Republican House with the white Republican governor. And this state is near the bottom of the nation in nearly every quality of life metric that actually measures human flourishing. So the question before us is not whether Louisiana knows how to exercise power. The question is who benefits from that power. If this legislature fought poverty as hard as it fought black representation, Louisiana might rise from the bottom. Mr. Chairman, before I say anything else, I need to acknowledge something that ought to humble, I think, this entire room. I was not in this room. I was in the overflow room. But sitting there today were all 4 black congressmen elected to the state, from the state of Louisiana since slavery. Think about that. Since slavery, since lynching, since poll taxes, since literacy tests, since black people had to guess how many bubbles were in a bar of soap just to register to vote, since people lost jobs, homes, and lives, and their lives, I should say, for trying to participate in democracy. And now we saw today all 4 sitting here. That shouldn't merely be politically observed. That ought to be morally convicting. And yet at the very moment that we see that, Louisiana has finally begun to reflect more representative democracy. The machinery of power begins moving at a remarkable speed to redraw, reduce, and restrain that representation. It seems that some leaders have become more committed to maintaining the map than improving their state. Some leaders seem more concerned with keeping their seats than losing their integrity, more concerned with keeping the president's or governor's favor than keeping faith with people who sent them here, and more seem to be concerned with protecting party power rather than protecting democratic principles. More seem to be concerned with drawing safer districts than building safer communities. That tension is not lost on us. History is watching this committee. For generations, black people in Louisiana were told to wait. Wait to vote. Wait to participate, wait to be represented, wait for fairness, and now that representation has finally emerged, now that we have seen it, we are once again being told democracy must be rearranged. It literally took centuries to get the 4 black congressmen who were sitting at this table today, and it shouldn't take one special session to try to undo what generations suffered to build. Senator Jenkins, you're right. Every map drawn by the other guy who's happy that he got some black friends is gerrymandered for white Republicans, even though he encodes the terminology by using the code word traditional, perhaps without understanding that we know that anytime you use the word traditional, you're signaling not y'all. And Senator Carter, you were right. DI works well in the fields, whether they're cotton fields or football fields. But perhaps what troubled me the most today, because I was in the other room, so I didn't get to see this. We were just watching on the television screens, and I didn't know, from the overflow rooms, I couldn't tell who was on this committee, but I thought it was just 3 black senators. Because 4 black congressmen from Louisiana, a general, and other people have sat here, maps have been presented, communities have been pleading to be heard, and yet many on this committee have responded with no questions, no engagement, no visible wrestling with the moral weight of their decision. And Louisiana, I want you all to know, silence has a history too. Silence during segregation, silence during voter suppression, silence during unequal schools, silence while communities were poisoned, silence while black voters have been diluted, and silence, ladies and gentlemen, have never been neutral. Some people in this room inherited rights they never had to march for, never had to bleed for, never had to bury a loved one for them. And perhaps that's why it's easy for them to sit and treat this representation, other people's representation, as negotiable, because they never known what it means to live without the rights. But I need to remind those citizens who are of the same spirit and heart that there are some rights that are neither conferred by nor derived from the state. that they are God-given rights. And that the Bible teaches us, woe unto those who legislate evil and rob the poor of justice. I appreciate these few minutes, and I pray that when history, because all these titles will fade, these committee positions will fade, terms will be up, and I pray that one day when your grandchildren look at you and ask you what you did when the fate of history was before you, that you will be able to say, I had the courage to do the right thing. Shame that it takes courage to do the right thing, but I hope you'll be able to say, I had the courage to do the right thing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your testimony. Please state your name for the record. Gary, Mr. Chambers, did you fill out a green card?
Did not.
I need you to fill out a green card.
I do
A green card to
I'll
be able
do
to
that for
testify.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Brandon Buetain. Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Bishop Brandon Buetain, Sr. I serve as the senior pastor of United Fellowship Full Gospel Baptist Church in New Orleans, Louisiana. But today I do not stand here merely as a pastor, a politician, or a community leader. Today, I stand here as a prophetic voice crying out in a critical hour of Louisiana's history. Because whenever systems become unjust, whenever people begin to feel silenced, whenever communities are divided, weakened, and overlooked, God has always raised up a voice. When Pharaoh hardened his heart, God raised Moses. When Ahab corrupted the system, God raised Elijah. When justice was perverted at the gates, the prophet stood up and declared, let justice roll down like the waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. And I stand here and sit here today because there are communities across Louisiana, particularly black communities and historically marginalized communities that are crying out because their voices have been fragmented through unfair systems and political maneuvering. This redistricting issue is not just about lines on a map. It's about whether people matter. It's about whether democracy is sacred. It's about whether every citizen has equal value in the eyes of the law. And I came to remind this body today that you cannot keep dividing people and expect unity. You cannot silence communities and expect peace. You cannot dilute voices and expect trust in government. The prophet Elijah stood before a broken system and declared, how long shall you hope between two opinions? In other words, how long will you stand between justice and convenience, between fairness and political comfort? This is a defining moment. History is watching you. Our children are watching you. Generations not yet born will live with the decisions that are made in rooms like this one. So today I urge you, do what is right, not what is easy, not what is politically safe, but do what is just. Because justice is not liberal. Justice is not conservative. Justice is righteousness. And this Senate Bill 407 gives us an opportunity to move closer toward fairness, representation, and dignity for every community in Louisiana. And I respectfully ask for your support. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Bishop. Mr. Chambers, welcome to the committee. Please state your, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please state your name for the record.
Gary Chambers, representing myself here. I am not surprised by the things that we see happening in our country today, because this is as true to America as it has always been. I was born in 1985. I'm 40 years old. A lot of times when we talk about this history, we like to go back to the 1960s, the 1800s. But when I was born, in 1985, there were no black members of Congress from Louisiana. I was 6 years old when Bill Jeffers was sworn into office. I was 7 years old when Cleo Fields was sworn into office. I was 9 years old when they took him out of office. I'm 40 today, and you're still taking things from black people. Anybody who has to cheat to win is a sucker. I'm gonna say it again. Anybody who got to cheat to win is a sucker. And you continue to do this because you don't have a better vision. You don't have a better plan. You are your ancestors' children and grandchildren. Thieves, robbers, liars, consistently. Because you'll go to church on Sunday, tell the Lord you love him. Pray, but you ain't praying out of the same Bible I'm praying out of, can't be. Isaiah 1 and 17.
Are you directing this to us?
I am.
Okay. I'm asking that you don't directly. No, I'm asking that we don't be called names. I'm asking.
I didn't call you a name. What did I call you?
Liars.
Do you lie? All men lie. The Bible says that.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Carter, briefly.
Mr. Chairman, this is public comment. The First Amendment allows freedom of speech and expression 100% without limitation. Mr. Chambers, put on the record your full comments, and if you see thievery, I want you to call it out. If you see something else, I want you to call it out. That's your First Amendment protection is going to be protected in this building.
I'm not going to be called names. I'm not going to be called names. All right. And what we will do is stay on the four corners of these bills. The maps. Mr. Chambers.
If you are taking something from black people, which means we have congressional representation, am I going to be allowed to speak? Yes.
Your mic is on.
Okay. If you are taking seats from black people, which we are entitled to by the Constitution of this country, then you are a thief in my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion.
I will not be
and
called
any
a thief.
senator, if you're offended by it, that's on you, not me.
Right.
Now, if that triggered you, Senator, then you should go to bed tonight, and when you go to bed tonight, talk to your God and ask your God to change your heart, because that's conviction right there. Conviction. That's what it was. It did something in your soul. It made you feel something. And that's what happened when black men show up. When black men with courage, conviction, and righteousness show up, it triggers something in you. And you feel a way about it. So you try to limit us, you try to steal from us, and you think that we don't understand it. Every one of the black men we put up before you stand head and shoulders above every one of you on this committee. And you know it. And it does something in you that makes you feel inferior. So then you come with these white supremacist tactics because you have the numbers, but you don't have the courage. Because if you were really visionary leaders, you'd run against these black men with fair maps, and you'd get your asses whooped. Louisiana is 33% black. 33% black. We have earned, we are due 2 congressional seats. Now, if you take them from us, just know there will be a day in this state when we organize, strategize, and mobilize to take something from you. It's coming. And when you lose your House seat because you decided to be Jeff's boy, when you lose your Senate seat because you decided to be Trump's minion, remember today. Remember the people that came from your state, that you looked in their faces, that you act like what they said didn't matter to you. Because something somebody said thousands of miles away, who don't really care about any of you on this committee, to be honest. Nobody in that conservative party in D.C. cares about any of you on this city committee other than the fact that you have the ability to take something away from black people. And if you were anything like what America should be, you'd find some courage. I don't know where y'all get it from, but you'd find some courage. You could talk to some of your black colleagues. They could tell you where the well is. But if you find that courage, history will record you differently. Now, you may not care what history records you as. Bull Connor didn't when he was running either. Neither did George Wallace when he was the governor of Alabama. But 60 years later, nobody thinks George Wallace was a good white man. And nobody will think that you were good white men. They will think that you all were puppets who played a role for a president and got nothing out of it but thievery.
Thank you for your testimony. The board is clear.
Good job, man.
And there you have it. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite lengthy, but worth it, huh? Look, I hope that inspired you to not just register and then vote yourself, but to encourage others that you know that are eligible to vote to vote. Everybody that you know that you know hasn't voted, or is like blind on voting, you know, encourage them. Share this video with them. Truly, okay. Look, all I can say is it's not just your right, it's your honor, it's your responsibility, it's your duty. It should be your inspiration to vote. That part right there. I'm Mark K. Harden. Please vote.